comfortable space wherever you are. What's nice about connecting with your practice at home is self-discipline, really giving yourself a chance to carve out that time to build mindful practice. So with your eyes closed, as you find a comfortable space, lengthen your spine, begin to move with the breath. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release, let go. Notice the movement in the shoulders. Notice the rise and fall in your belly and your navel. I'm just going to peek up and see, make sure that I can speak louder and everyone can hear me. And while you're in the space, starting with meditation or just mindful space. Sometimes when we use the term meditation, we think that we have to be in a certain space, we have to be doing something special with meditation. As long as you are present with your breath, you have already started with your mindful practice. Connecting that with body, movement, and breath is everything. So as we continue to move with the breath, and if you're just joining us, welcome. If you're not able to hear me, please drop a comment, let me know. Hopefully not disrupt your practice while you are joining me. Allow your shoulders to drop down away from the ears. Keep your eyes closed. Find a comfortable space and just be. Continue to move in with the breath. Usually in our class on Wednesdays, lights are turned off and all you have is the candlelight. I have a candlelight here, so if you have a candle going or a safe candle at home, feel free to just focus on the light. Inhale for 4, exhale, release for 6 counts. Deep breath. Be able to think about what no longer serves you, be able to let that go. Let anything go that holds heavy on you or weighs on your shoulders. Move with the breath. And as you lengthen your spine here, allow the spine to be erect, legs crossed. You can even come into Virasana where you are sitting on your heels through your hips. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And in Yin Yoga, it's really nice that taking more time in meditation during your practice, you're able to bring it all together. This is also a nice way to balance work, the real work-life, family balance at home. You're creating the space for yourself as well as if you're working at home or working from home, as well as managing kids in school. And if not, just managing your day while we are all at home. One more breath here. Bringing oxygen in between the organs. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and we will begin our practice. If you have blocks, please use them, or if you have canned or a water bottle, that's even great to use to help with having support. I believe in having props to support at all times, even if you have a strap. I didn't include a strap here, but you can feel free to bring a strap in your practice. We'll start off with some cat-cow stretches. I always start off with the cow stretch, which of course is the inhale. Fingers spread apart, and I always like to emphasize fingers spread apart just because we automatically can easily injure the wrist when you're putting weight onto the wrist. So to avoid any strain on the wrist, knees right under your hips And sticking out your seat as if you're sticking out your bum. And fingers spread apart, you're gonna push with your palm pads. So that way you're training yourself to use the palm pads rather than the rather than the wrists. So finger pads and palm pads. And you wanna be at hip distance apart. And we're gonna move through, just gliding side to side. Bringing some movement and heat into the body, because I know it's really cold outside, but of course depending on the temperature in your home. And we're going to move through cow pose, lowering down through the chest. And stick out your seat, take a deep breath and expand the lungs. And without extending your neck or flexing your neck, you can look up like a cow moving. Let the belly drop, let the belly fall, let it just hang. And as you exhale, bring the belly in towards the spine as you round your back, rounding the back in such a way that you are in a cat pose, releasing and letting go, just being in surrender here. And again, take a deep breath in, inhale here, expand the lungs, and as you pull the heart forward, exhale here, release, let go. Notice the heaviness in the head, heaviness in the shoulders. And round your hips here, just bringing some movement in the lower body. The hips, any tight hips here. This is a nice way to rotate the hips. We're now going to move into thread the eye of the needle. And thread the eye of the needle is one of my favorites because I always incorporate it in my class because it's a really nice shoulder releasing stretch as well as a chest opener. So we'll do this by starting off with, again, safe body mechanics. It's always important. We're going to place one hand at the top of the mat midway. Fingers again are spread apart. Use your palm pads, use your finger pads rather than the wrist for safety. And then the other palm is going to be diagonal below the top hand. And we're going to take a deep breath in. Inhale here, stack the shoulder. And exhale here. Scoop your arm all the way through until the shoulder meets the mat. And as you do this, you're going to lower your seat, lower your bum, as if you're sitting on your heels. Inhale back up again. Wiggle those fingers towards the ceiling and exhale here. Swoop your arm all the way through. Head comes down. Head hovers over the mat. Inhale one more time. Exhale here. This time we're going to stay here longer. We're going to be here for 4 full breaths. While we're here, reconnect, reground here. As you reconnect, it's like pressing a reset button. Lower down your seat. Seat comes down. Stay here for about 3 full breaths. And I'm just going to take a peek. Make sure that you can hear me. Hi, Rosa. Hi, Monica. Again, feel free to drop a comment anytime that you have any trouble hearing me. I turned off the music, so if you have your own music, that's great. 2 more breaths here. You want to stay here, and if you notice any heaviness towards the head or the shoulders, shift that weight towards the hips. Again, as if you're sitting on your heels, because what you're doing is you're using the breath to break open any tight spaces. That's how powerful the pranayama, the energy, the breath is in the body. Reminds us all that how much power the body has in health and wellness. And as we inhale here, next inhale, unscoop your arms, return back to hands and knees. Now let's just release any of the tension we might have picked up. We might have picked up some energies that we weren't able to get rid of them. You ever walk into a room and you pick up some kind of energy that you subconsciously don't think about picking up, and then you are not able to get rid of it, and you get into a type of mood or in a feeling a certain way. So it's nice to just be able to, the body can have that power to release it and surrender here. So what we're going to do is come into another cat-cow, starting off with the cow pose. Come into your cow, moving, look up. Feel that stretch, let the belly fall. Feel the stretch in the abdominal muscle. Exhale here and round the spine, round the back. Actively notice where the breath is going, sending it back to the universe, and rotate the hip. And you're rotating the hip in this way, making full circles or halfway circles, or do what you can, and please modify. I may not mention that at the beginning of our practice, that to modify whenever needed. It's really nice to notice that when you're making these rounding with the hips, you are also moving and stretching through the hamstrings, and also the hip flexors, of course. So, tap the feet in the back of the mat. Really nice way to just let the earth know your presence, that you are here, you're present, you are connecting with the earth, connecting with yourself. Now I'm just switching sides. One palm at the top of the mat, the other palm is diagonal below. Take a deep breath in, and again, I want to mention to keep your hips squared, keep your shoulders squared, keep the hips also leveled. So instead of just tipping from one way to one side higher than the other, take a deep breath in. Inhale, stack the shoulder again. Exhale here, scoop the arm as close as possible, lower down your seat. Come in, exhale, release. Inhale again. Expand the lungs, deep breath. Exhale, scoop your arm all the way through till the shoulder meets the mat. One last time, inhale, reach up high, as high as you can, but don't overextend. If you notice some intensity in the practice, it's nice, it means your body needs it. And if you notice any resistance, back away, because it just means your body is saying not today. And that is completely okay. All right? Staying here for about 3 full breaths. If you notice your seat is up, lower down the seat. Just checking in with yourself here for safe body alignment, and then reminding what your aim is. In yoga, there are no goals, but there are whatever you have intention or whatever you're aiming for. Yoga could be for wellness, for feeling good, for a variety of things, but for safe body alignment is always important. 2 more breaths here, staying in the same position in thread the eye of the needle, just peeking in to make sure everyone can hear me. Wonderful. And again, as if you're sitting on your heels, you want to stay as low as possible, of course without overstraining yourself. And as you do this, you're breaking some spaces, loosening some tight areas in the hips. On the next inhale, return back to hands and knees, back to tabletop position. Knees, let's realign here. Knees are underneath your hips, and rounding the hips, and then coming into another come to another cat-cow stretch. Release anything that no longer serves you. Continue to keep the shoulders and the hips aligned, keep them squared. Lowering down, inhale. Expand the lungs, let the belly drop, let it fall towards the earth, look up, and exhale. Release, let go. Just let it flow out the body, out the mind. And again, nice way to warm up the spine, also nice way to lengthen the spine, massaging some spaces in the organs, bringing in oxygen, releasing unwanted energy, old energy as well. It may have served you at some point, but maybe later on it's time to release it back. Now, body's warmed up and we're ready for downward facing dog. So if you're just joining us, welcome, and love that you are here with us. Again, safe body alignment, nice practice. So fingers are spread apart, using your palm pads, using your finger pads, and try to avoid using the wrists. At one point in my yoga practice, I remember not even being able to do a down dog years ago because I was always using the computer ergonomically incorrect. So with practice in yoga, I now can do handstand and shoulder stand and not have to deal with the pain in my wrists. Fingers spread apart. Again, it's like you're cupping at the earth, pushing away at the earth. Push it away from you. Tuck your toes. Lift up to your seat. Coming into downward facing dog. Pedal your heels one at a time, or both at the same time. Keep your hips squared, keep your shoulders squared, but try to drop the shoulders, let them fall away from the ears. Deep breath, shake your head no, nod your head yes, and what's nice about the down dog is that it works all areas of the body. We have a guest here, so you want to come and say hello and then exit yourself out. And continue on with your down dog, lifting up, tuck your toes. Again. And keep the shoulders, let them fall heavy so that way they're not tucked up by the ears. Tuck your chin in towards the chest. And stack the hip by lifting one leg up, bend the knee, and rotate the ankle. Rotate the thigh. Rotate the foot. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, other leg up. Bend the knee. Try to bend it so you're not opening up at the hip. We're not ready for that yet. Rotate the ankle. Rotate the thigh, rotate the knee, and then moving on to the other direction. Shake your head no, nod your head yes. Remember, shoulders away from the ears. Pedal heels one at a time, or both at the same time. Now we're going to walk up like elephant walk. Walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. And we're going to ragdoll down, hugging, or you can hold on to opposite elbows. And as you hinge forward, you'll notice this breaking again, opening up some spaces into the hips or in the hip flexors. Moving forward and back. And as you do this, your toes will be free. The heel is the heaviest point of the body here. You're really rooting down and regrounding when you keep your heels down onto the mat. Drop the hands down. Come into mountain pose, Tadasana. Really nice way, arch the spine, arch the back. Feel the heat coming up. Hands at heart coming into Samasthiti. One of my favorites. And dive down again. You can hop back or step back into down dog. Shake your head no, nod your head yes. Usually by now we would move into sun salutation or even a moon salutation, but this evening we're going to really drop it down a notch by coming into child pose. In child pose, what I love is that there's a variation in your child pose, and at any time you can be creative with your child pose. You could even use the block to support you. So, knees apart as you come into child pose, and even if you don't have a mat, it's nice to even come into this space. Really nice rendering space. Also another way of resetting your blood pressure, circulatory system, just even toning down anytime you're feeling emotional or even angry or sad. Really coming into child pose is the best. One of the best things in yoga. So we're going to walk our hands. Again, use your palms, not the wrists, and move it towards the top of the mat. You're going to use a little bit of resistance, soft resistance, by pushing away at the earth, so you're really opening up some spaces into the hip, to the tight hips. As you know, the hips are seat of emotions. That's where we store those emotions, and our hips get tight. Lowering down. We're going to take our time. We're going to be here for several breaths, about 5 minutes. So take your time, moving the hands up towards the top of the mat. Deep breath. And if you're not breathing, it's not yoga. So make sure you are bringing awareness into your breath. Really be present with your breath. Walk your hands to one side. You can go on to the left or the right, whichever one you want to start off with, and then the opposite side, bring open any tight areas into the rib bones. So those intercostal spaces, bring them open. Be here for about 3 full breaths. There you go. Very nice. And what I like about opening up those spaces in the rib bones is how often do we get to release any space or just be able to reset and exchange that oxygen. Even if we're not outdoors or outside, it's nice that we're really just moving things around in the body. It's like taking a sponge and just rinsing the body out of any unwanted visitors. Remember, emotions are just visitors. They're like visitors in your home, they are temporary. One more breath here. Again, using your palms, try not to use the wrists. Next inhale, go ahead and walk your hands. Let the shoulders fall, come closest to the ground as much as possible because that's where you're regrounding yourself here. Walking the hands over to the other side. And again, you're opening up the spaces, any tight spaces in the hips, because you're using the resistance of the breath. Really breaking open that space through the breath. The breath is what opens you up, not so much of the pose or the flexibility. Flexibility follows after, comes later. If not, if you don't have it now, it's okay. You don't need flexibility for yoga. Just an open heart. Walk your hands, the next inhale, and we're going to stay here and reach the fingertips, reach higher. Notice you even reaching deeper towards the top of the mat. That's where you know you're moving deeper into your practice because you are moving deeper physically. Fingertips reaching up. Letting it all go. Now, next inhale, walk your hands back to center. And gently bring your knees together. If you have any recent knee injury or re-injury, try not to come into these really deep hip openers because it definitely puts a strain on the knees. Interlace your fingers behind you and have an open space for your shoulder blades to squeeze into the mid-back. Take a deep breath in here. Chin up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, lower down. And it's completely optional if you want to come into the space where you're lowering the head down, or you could just stay where you are. Try not to lock the joints. Very easy to do that, so let's keep the elbows bent. Deep breath for about 3 breaths here. Here you go. You're doing great. One more breath here. Coming back to downward facing dog, we're going to lift up through your seat. Again, coming into an upside down V. Square your hips, square your shoulders, let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Tuck your toes here and pedal your heels. Pedal your heels, The more your heel comes down, the higher the seat comes up, and there you are reaching into your core. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Very nice. Inhale, right leg up. And exhale, we're going to bring it forward to the top of your mat and coming into a hatha lunge. And in your hatha lunge, your back heel's off the mat. Again, shoulders are square. We're going to lower down, just coming into Anjaneyasana. Nothing too much. Make sure your front knee's not past your ankle. Bringing the knee down, completely optional again. Deepen the stretch with your breath, not so much of your muscles or in your pose. Bring your arms out. You can even interlace your fingers behind. Squeeze the scapula into the mid-back. And now coming into a hatha twist. If you have your right foot forward, left hand next to the right foot, reach that arm all the way up. Stack the shoulder here like we did earlier in thread the eye of the needle. Make sure the knee's forward. Keep the knee bent in the back. One more breath here. You could even challenge and deepen your practice with your eyes closed. Much different space. Inner eyes open. Bring your hand down. Front foot comes back. We're now going to exhale here, come down into a plank. You can come down with your knees as long as you're not sinking into the shoulders. Lowering down. Inhale, chest comes up. Roll your shoulders back. One of my favorites in the class. Tuck your toes again into downward facing dog. Be here for about 3 full breaths in your down dog. That's always important. Stay present with your breath. Now, while you're in down dog, we're going to move to the other side. Inhale, left leg forward or the right leg, whichever one's next. Bring it forward to the top of the mat, just switching sides into your Anjaneyasana. As long as your front knee is not past the ankle. Lift that leg back up. Balance the weight between both legs, keeping the back knee bent. Safety first. And the opposite hand next to the foot. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up. Feel that twist. Drop the shoulders, allow the shoulder to fall so you're not lifting up or dumping any weight into the bottom hand. One more breath here. Notice the heat in the body. Doing wonderful. Now, while you are here, I'm going to bring both hands to the top of the mat. Return back. Bring that front foot back. Come into downward facing dog. And then as you plank down, I want you to balance your plank. Lower down. Elbows to the sides. Belly off the mat. Arch your back. Tap your toes again. Downward facing dog. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Now we're going to come into child pose again. You can also come into frog or rabbit pose. Rabbit pose, you have your knees together, holding onto your heel. As you hold onto your heel, lower down. You can come in this space. If you don't want to overwork your knees or extend the knees. Or classic child pose. Surrender here. Release. Let go. And even though we are taking the stress of commute out of our lives for some time because of working at home or just less people on the road, we're still taking in a lot because we are going through a global adjustment. So take this time for yourself and with yourself. Think about what you have and bring gratitude into that space. You will notice so many differences in just really feeling good about gratitude and what you're thankful for, just for the simplest things. And moving on to the other side, we're going to be here for about 4 full deep breaths. Notice the prana, the energy, the movement in the chest. And when you think about how much breath exchange, how much awareness and attention you're giving to your body, you'll start to feel lighter because you're really being mindful and just getting rid of and letting things go, just things as simple as, mourning frustration about something. So your body has the power to heal. Let go. One more breath here. I know you're doing amazing. Reconnecting, regrounding at home. That allows you to really carve out that space at home. Bringing in routine and building momentum. Next, inhale here. Walk your hands back to center. Bring the knees together. And we're just going to release. Just let go. Just be. Come into any counter stretches, especially with your palms. Oh, sorry, Abby, I must be not loud enough here. Make sure that I'm loud. I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Now we're coming into a counter stretch. So counter stretching any space that if we're stretching too much one way, we want to counter that stretch. So interlace your fingers behind you. We're going to drop the head back, but try not to bend. Try not to lock the joints. So keep the elbows bent. Drop the head back and rotate one full circle. Nice small micro movements. But move with the breath. Don't hold your breath. When you reach that full circle, move into the other direction. Very nice. Beautiful. And then shake it out. Okay, we're getting ready to transition onto floor. So, you can use a block that if you'd like to sit on, or you can, we're going to have the bolster now. Bolster could be your body pillow, like I have a body pillow here, or you can just double up your pillows. And what I love about the bolsters is that you can use that for any yoga, any level of yoga. That really helps and support the body. Allows your body to just release and then relax. Hey, Dennis. All right, so We're going to come into first placing the bolster underneath your knees. Now, if you have any access to ocean music, ocean waves, then this is the time to play that. So, we're going to place the bolster or the pillows underneath your knees, underneath the knee joints. You can bring them just underneath the knees. Make sure that your seat, both of the seated bones, are heavy into the mat. So not one side over to the other for safety. Again, safe body alignment. And find a comfortable space because we'll be here for a while. If you have any blocks, use them. If you don't, again, use any object similar to, you could even use books. Books are nice to, that are helpful. And we're just going to allow the chest to just surrender and relax. Use a block or two. We're going to use just the space between the eyebrows. Remember, that is the pineal gland. I always like to practice with that. Practice the pineal gland because it really helps improve the intuition, the gut, and this pose becomes harder the longer that you're here. If you have any back issues, modify when needed, but this is a really nice way to also relax any of the sciatic nerve and also release any tension in any muscle, what is it called? It's the, when your muscles are overused, and the term will come to me soon. Now, if you're here and you start to feel like any strain in the neck, readjust, realign, and try to tuck the chin in towards the chest, because that way you're not focused on overstraining the neck, and using, again, safe body alignment. If you have any singing bowls, songs with singing bowls in the background, anything soothing that helps relax the brain waves, this is a good time to use that. If you want to deepen your stretch here, also you can reach for the back of your feet. You want to just let go and relax. Just be. We're going to be here for about 6 full breaths. So move with the breath, deepen the breath with the counts of inhale for 4. And exhale, release for 6. 6 counts. Again, keep the shoulders square, try to keep them together and align with the elbows bent. Keeping the elbows relaxed. This is also another pose that moves towards better sleep because you're allowing your body to unwind. Two more breaths here. And again, the block is optional. On your next inhale, very slowly, very gently, Raise yourself up from the block. Shake out any tensions, letting anything go. Let the energy flow out that doesn't belong in the body. Ready to release here. And now we're going to place the bolster next to you. We are going to, place the bolster on one side. We're going to come into a reclining twist. And in your reclining twist, what I like the most about this pose is the way that you sleep. If you sleep on your side, it really helps relax the body to go into that mode. So when anytime that you're kind of worked up or not ready to go to sleep, but you know it's late and it's bedtime, this is a nice way to come into a space where you're preparing for your journey of sleep. Let me turn the light back on. Now, the bolster on the side. We're going to, depending on what side that you want to start off with, having your foot next to the thigh. Take a deep breath in, lengthen your spine here, reaching all the way up, up, fingers on one side or interlacing the fingers above. We're going to now move on to one side, lowering down the upper body. Remember, stay grounded with both of your seated bones. And you're going to lower the body, and you're just going to take some time. It's going to take about several breaths for you to really come in and actually allow the body to rest. Allow the chest to come down, rest. Placing one cheek onto one side. Allow the bolster or the pillows to just support the entire chest. Just like my student here is doing. Hi, Lauren. Welcome. Alright, so place blankets and double this blanket and then hug the blanket entirely in your body. Go entire chest over. Now, usually in a restorative yoga class, sometimes your yoga teacher, with touch being allowed, of course, will allow the muscles to just relax fully because you are hugging the entire bolster or the blanket if you have that. If you are in, of course, a yoga class. Again, you have one cheek on one side. Another benefit of the reclining twist is it also resets the circulatory system blood-wise because your heart is inverted, and also you're stacking your hips, which is always nice because you're placing some low-bearing weight onto the hips. We'll be here for about 4 more full breaths. I know you're doing amazing. Stay in your 4 more full breaths. There you go. Sometimes it takes about 10 breaths to really allow the body to let go. Stay in this position. Place the entire chest over. There you go. Make sure you don't have one knee on top of the other because, again, safe body alignment. You don't want to strain or overextend your knees. Beautiful. 2 more full breaths. I know you're doing amazing. This is also another way to unwind the mind, relax the mind, and that's why when you have the music like the singing bowls or any of the vibrating sounds or ocean sounds, really biologically, physiologically, it relaxes the brain waves. One more breath here. This is one of my son's favorite yoga pose. That's why he joined late. All right, while you are here, open your eyes slowly, gently. Don't get up yet because we want to, again, stay present where you are. Now we're going to raise the body up. Stay here because you don't want to lift up one hip from the other. And we're going to, like a windshield wiper on a car, we're going to counter stretch here. So take the knees onto one side, really flow and move through the stretch. Do it as many times or as little times as you like. And now we're just going to switch sides. So you take your blanket onto the other side. There you go. Some sides are stronger than the other. You'll notice more flexibility on one side than the other, or even build momentum, and that's okay. It's nice to embrace those differences with the body. You're going to take that bolster or the pillow. Tuck it next to you on your thigh or your knee, next to the knee. And now we're ready to, well, first, we're going to lift up, raising those fingers up, gently, not pulling one side too much than the other, or interlace. And then we're going to turn the body. And once you turn the body, looking onto the other side of the corner of the room, you're going to lower the upper body and completely trust this bolster with your life. Now we're going to use the other cheek so you can balance your practice, always balance your practice. And your cheek comes down. Down onto the bolster. Again, we'll be here for 6 full breaths. Take your time as you come into this space because this space is just for you. This is a good time to even notice your breath. Allow your breath to enter the body in such a way that you notice every breath, every movement, every sensation. Deep breaths here. Healing the body, you're doing great. 3 more breaths. One more breath. Feel free to give out a couple of sighs if you'd like. That's when the body really relaxes, is when you alert or message the body that you are giving out that sigh and just releasing here, releasing any tension, any build-up, old energy, letting it go, releasing it out. On your next inhale, only when you're ready, of course, we're going to raise the head up, stay where you are, and push the bolster away from you. Stay very close to the earth. Keep your hips as close to the ground as possible, and windshield wipe your knees. like a 2-for-1 because you got to, in the reclining twist, you got to empty the mind, especially placing the head down towards the earth and also releasing any tension, relaxing the body. Beautiful. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Now we're going to place both of our seated bones, both of your seated bones onto the mat. We're going to walk our feet up towards the top of the mat, not too far, but just to where your heels are at the mat. We're going to raise our arms all the way up. So your elbows are close to the ears. Take a deep breath in and slowly come down. Lower the body down. Exhale here. The slower you go, the more you feel the flow. Stay here for about 3 full breaths. It's going to feel really good when you flush out any toxins left over, if there are any. Of course, no judgment here in this space. When you flush it out with tea, flush it out with water, and during this time with all this virus stuff going around, I like to take apple cider vinegar mixed with turmeric and swish it around in my mouth, gargle it. Sometimes I do this about 3 times in the day, and it really helps just release any mucus or any inflammation in the body, or added inflammation in the body. So, on your final breath, raise yourself up. Very slowly. Shake it out again. Now we're ready to come into the most important space, Shavasana. You're welcome to come into classic Shavasana, or one of my favorites, which is Viparita Karani, and that is legs on the wall. So if you have any space on your wall in your room, anywhere in your home, let's come into that space. I'm just going to turn the phone to the side, and I have my guest here who is going to come into his favorite pose. So bring your mat and go all the way over to the wall. Now with Viparita Karani, we're going to take the blanket. That's when we use the blanket, and we're going to place it underneath your hip. If you have 2 blankets, that's even better, because then you can drape yourself during Shavasana. All right. Beautiful. There we go. You don't have to have the blanket with you or underneath you. Doesn't look like he wants to have a blanket underneath him, so I'm just going to drape him in Shavasana. We're going to have the arms spread out to the side, straighten the body just a little bit. There you go, and try to inchworm yourself up towards the wall. There you go. Lay the arms down. What I like about the blanket method in yoga is it's like a supported Shavasana. And the supported Shavasana is always nice, because by the time you're in Shavasana and you only get that 3 minutes in a yoga class, sometimes too, you don't get to feel the full effect. So, welcome to Shavasana. So the most challenging thing of Shavasana is staying still as much as possible, staying present. Feel free to time travel if needed to your favorite destination, vacation, anywhere. Could be on the beach. And Feel free to come into any variation of your legs. Bring your legs into a V. Bring your legs into a V. You can also bring the soles of your feet together, bend the knees. Bend your knees. Feet together like a frog. So, there you go. There you go. Beautiful. Very nice. One more minute here. Return to your body. Return to your breath. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Reach your arms over your head. You can either keep your feet on the wall, or you can face to the side. Be careful with that. Face to the side. You can bring your legs to the side, stack the hips here, and bring your hands underneath your head. So bring your hands underneath your head like a pillow. Make a pillow with your hands underneath your head and just stay here for a moment. Now that we're coming to a close in your practice, think about what brought you to your mat this evening, what brought you to joining me this evening, and bringing yoga into your practice for sleep. 2 more breaths here. Relax your jaw. Relax any facial expressions. Okay. Now, take your time as we roll over